So then suddenly I got good at making these videos and I'm popping up on hers and all of her friends' For Your page or whatever it's called. Well, her friends think I'm hilarious and so cool and everything else. And she's like, ugh. And I'm like, should have taught me how to make a fucking commercial. We wouldn't be here.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for another show. We are here with special guest, Rockie Baldwin. I am so excited to have Rockie here today because she is unapologetically herself. She is someone who speaks her mind and is not afraid or ashamed to be who she is. And that is an admirable quality. And I'm so excited to hear what she's going to share with us today. And with that, Rockie, I want to give you permission to be yourself. Don't feel like that you have to try to be super professional or whatever. Just be who you are. We want to know you and to know your story. So Rockie is a bail bondsman, and some people may not be familiar with what that is. So why don't you tell us, Rockie, what that is and what you do in your career?
We save the people from the bologna sandwiches at the jail, really. That's all it is. Not all heroes wear capes. So if somebody's in jail, they will post their bond, promising that they're going to show up to court. So they're out of the jurisdiction of the branch jail, but they're in our jurisdiction. So we're in charge. And people don't realize that. They think, oh, I'm out, I'm free. Nope, you're still, in jail, just on the outside.
Yeah, so how do they go about getting your services? Like if someone's in jail, what do they do to get a bondsman involved?
They either call us from the jail with their free phone call or collect and give us people's phone numbers to call. Like, say, Jim Bob went to jail and we need to call his mom Dolly. He'll give me her number and I'll start calling all night long because the jail, I don't know if it's a new thing, but when it calls, the caller ID says spam likely. So a lot of people's cell phones reject them.
Yeah.
And it didn't used to show up that way, but lately it's spam. So.
Right. So, sorry. So if when someone calls you, you help them to get a hold of their family member, and then what's that transaction like? Do they pay you a percentage and you then post the bond? Is that how it works?
Yeah, in Florida it's 10% for basic charges. Felony charges, there are different bonds, but it's anything up to $1,000 is $100. After 1,000, it becomes 10%. You can't take all 6 of your charges, add them up, and then take 10% of that. You have to do, each charge has its own premium. Police officers don't know that. So we get a lot of people that call us and argue, well, the cop said my bond would be this. Cool. Call the cop and tell him to bond you out then.
Right. Okay. So just a scenario, someone has a charge, $2,500 bond. They would pay you 10%? $250. And then you, through your company, would post the bond of the $2,500. And then do you get paid back at the conclusion of the case? Is that how it works?
No. If you pay a bond, it's kind of a gamble. If you pay a bondsman, you're going to pay that percentage to get out, and you're not getting it back. If you want money back, you can pay the full bond to the jail, or you can pay us the full bond plus the 10%. When the case settles, we'll send the full bond back, but we're keeping the 10% because that's how we stay in business.
Right. So not the person gets paid back, but your company gets paid back from posting the bond to the county when the case is over.
Yeah, we post, it's like a power of attorney kind of. We don't take the full $2,500 down there.
Okay.
They have to go to court. If they don't go to court, then we have 60 days and then we have to pay the full bond. So if we pay the full bond, either the defendant or the indemnitor, which is the person who signed the bond, they're going to pay it. Somebody's paying us back.
Right. So is that what happens then? If what happens if they don't show up and they don't go to court? What do you do about that?
We start trying to find them. Maybe they forgot, or it was just a mistake. We'll get a letter to the judge, hopefully get that warrant recalled, get a new court date. Other people, they know they're going to prison, they're running. But when we do a bond, we don't just, Joe Blow walks in and we're like, sure, we'll do it, no problem. We look everybody up. We look to see how many failure to appears they have. Have they ever bonded out of jail, or do they get time served all the time? And generally speaking, it's great to not have a criminal record. I have no record. That's great, and except for a bondsman, because how do we know that you're going to go to court, or that you do what you're supposed to do? You have no footprints.
Right. No track record. Yeah. So I've seen the show Bounty Hunter. Do you guys do that? Do you track people down?
If somebody doesn't go to court, yeah, we're going to go get them. But no, it's not exciting like that. And the state of Florida doesn't allow bounty hunters either. Okay. You have to be a bondsman. You might be able to be a private investigator. I'm not sure with that one, but I know there's no just bounty hunters that go find people, and they're like a people repo. That's what I call them.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this type of work?
I started working there 4 years ago. That just they needed office help. I needed a job, and I really liked it. And I thought, well, I'm going to go to bondsman school. I went to police school 20 years ago. I could do this. So I did. I just had to wait for the class that was only on the weekends, and that was local enough that I could work during the week and then go to school on the weekends, because I still have to feed these damn kids. Bastards, the state requires it.
So you mentioned that you have, you make calls and do things all night long. Does that mean that you work overnight shift?
I do. I work 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. Sometimes I'll work part of the day shift the next day too. We work long hours.
Yeah. And how do you keep yourself awake at night?
I do a lot of exercises. I watch TikTok and I make TikToks.
Yeah, I see your TikTok page. It's a blonde bondsman, right?
Yes.
There's a blog. Everyone go follow her TikTok. It's hilarious. So
I can't post that stuff on Facebook because my grandma's there.
So TikToks and exercising, and that's great that you have that freedom. You're just kind of waiting on the phone to ring, right? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't, but then there's other nights where I can't keep up. I've got all the lines are going, and I'm the only one in the office. Now, when the office is busy like that, somebody else will take the bonds out to the jail. But if it's, here or there, 2 or 3 in the morning, I'll just do the bond and then take it out to the jail myself. But there's a lot of downtime. I learned how to do it yourself, cut up T-shirts and do the little braids in the back. I keep myself occupied.
Yeah. So you and I went to middle school together at New Smyrna Beach Middle, and then we kind of lost touch. We've been friends on Facebook, and I followed your TikTok, but I don't really know a lot about kind of where life took you after middle school. So fill me in, I know it's a long span of history, but some of the highlights, what's some of the things that you've been doing since then?
I went to police school at 19. My dream was to always be a cop because of the movie Silence of the Lambs. Ever since I was a little girl.
That's the movie that inspired. I love that movie too. And I hate scary movies, but I loved that movie when I was younger and still do.
And that's still my dream, but I'm not going to start that at 41. And my whole body is broken. So it's too much.
You could be an investigator. Sure, right? You could be an investigator. Charisse, that's her name in Silence of the Lambs, right?
Clarice. Clarice. Do you hear the lambs at night?
She was in her 40s. Like, it's still possible. You're still young.
I know. I love my job. I love who I work for. I love every bit of it.
Yeah. If you're happy.
Some people are so grateful too. Like,
yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
I make those ads too. I'm sure, our Facebook ads. Bringing families together, one bond at a time.
Nice. So you do some of the marketing then?
Well, I mean, for me. My boss doesn't mind.
No, I mean, that's the way of the world now, is Facebook and social media to advertise your business. So, okay. So police school, how was that? How was getting through that training program and the schooling?
It was great. I loved it. But then I got pregnant because, in high school, I was one of the boys, so they didn't really pay attention to me. So when I turned 18, I found the Rockin' Ranch and started swing dancing. And the bar back paid attention to me. I got knocked up. So I kept going to school. I did all the classroom classes, and I talked to the director, and they said that as soon as I had the baby, I would be allowed to come back and do the physical classes instead of having to start from scratch.
Okay.
So I did that. Hunter was about 6 weeks old, and I was back in school at the range. But everything changed then because, that bar back wasn't around. So I had to live for my kid. I wasn't going to school to be a cop to write tickets. I was going where the action is, Miami or Sanford, somewhere. Somebody was going to shoot at me, and I was going to shoot them back. But when you have a kid, then you have to live. So, my parents would have been sad before, but I have a little sister, and she's the good one. So, they would have gotten over it.
So you went through police school, but because of your son, you weren't really able to fully, have that experience. So what you do is
I did finish, and I finished for the sole purpose of someday when they were ready for college and decided they couldn't go because of this or that, I could say I worked full time. I was 19. I went to school at night. I took care of you all by myself, and we didn't live at home. Shut up, you're going to school. That was the whole reason I finished.
That's great. And that is a testament. I mean, to be able to do all of that at that age as well is, impressive. And you had to grow up young,
But now I've got 4 years left with the little one. She starts high school. So I don't have to be old anymore. I can be young again. I missed my 20s, guys. We're backing it up.
That's funny. So what'd you do instead of following your police dreams?
I went to a paralegal school and loved it. I had the biggest crush on one of my professors who I'm still friends with to this day. And I worked for a horrible attorney and swore I would never work for another attorney, and I haven't. And then I went to Pepsi and did like their cash room for a while. I was miserable. I hated it there. I hated my whole life. And then I found this job, and I can't tell you, like, when people say liking what you do and your job makes a difference, I didn't realize it until 4 years ago. I don't hate going to work. I mean, there's shit that I miss. It's Sunday fun day on the boat. I work every Sunday, so I can't go out. I mean, I could go out on the boat, but it's not as much fun if you got to go to work.
Yeah, especially if you have to work all night. I mean, takes a lot out of you. Well, it's great to hear that you found a job that still satisfies your love for the criminal justice system, but is something that you can do, and it's safe, and you don't have to have the same concerns being a mother as you would have if you were in the police force.
I don't think it's not as safe. Like,
No?
oh God, where our office is not the best area, and I can't see out the windows at night, but people can see in. And if I go out to smoke, I've had stalkers. They call from blocked numbers nonstop, doing weird stuff. They keep coming to the office, and it gets scary. And there's been a few times when I sent my family and the boss a text describing the person in case they found me in pieces, because it was that person.
So it's not the people that you're bonding out that you have fear of? It's
one time this man came. We bonded him out and we took half. We were going to let him make payments to us. A few hours later, he gets a ride to our office and then tells me I'm going to give him money for the taxi. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I just gave you half your bond. You're welcome. And he starts coming around the desk like he's going to do something. So I had already looked this man up because that was the first time we did a bond for him. And domestic violation. I talked to his wife, and I just wasn't that lady that was going to sit there and take it. And by the time I got done with him that day, he now calls me Miss Rockie when he walks into the office. And I was like, listen, mother, I'm not your wife at home. I will fuck you up.
Yes, I like it. I wore my red lipstick today in honor of you because I knew we would be chatting. I call them my power lips. Like whenever I have some like important thing, like when I put on my red lipstick or some other bright color, it just makes me feel a little more confident. And I noticed that in your TikToks, you like to wear red lipstick too. So
always
power to the power lips. So you wear it all the time, huh?
I always wear, yeah. And my mother and I started fighting about red lipstick when I was 12, because back then I wanted to look like Christina Applegate, Kelly Bundy, and Married with Children. She was my idol. I thought she was so beautiful. She always had red lipstick on. Mm-hmm. And I've just worn it since then. If I go to the store, I might have barely any makeup on, but I put my lips on.
Nice.
And to this, now that I'm older, when I have, like, I'm going out, clothes and makeup on, people think I look like her. I'm like, well, does she need a stunt double?
So yeah, I can see the resemblance, and I can see why you would be drawn to her, because you do kind of have that same look. Like you're similar to her in some ways. So, but
back then I wasn't. I was so tomboyish in middle school. I wanted to be pretty, but football was so much more fun.
Yeah. So tell us about your kids. You mentioned Hunter. Do you have other kids?
I have another one, Charlie, my daughter. She's starting high school this year. Hunter is 21 now. So it's weird because, she's 14, almost 15. She wants to hang out with her friends all the time. And that's normal. But what's not normal is me being alone. Because I've been a mom for 21 years. That's all I've done is take care of kids and men. So I'm like, can I come? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And, it's just me and her now. So I find myself at the gym a lot. And sometimes I'm like barely working out, but I'm not sitting at home becoming a couch potato. But I don't talk to people because I'm very awkward at the gym. It's about the only time I'm shy. So if you ever want me to just shut up, just take me to the gym.
Well, I've noticed also on your TikTok that you are in incredible shape. So what's your secret? What's your routine? Fill me in.
I quit eating when I was about 10. So I was always very skinny. I was anorexic. I had what I see is not what anybody else sees when they look at me. I just, I said dysmorphia, body dysmorphia. I don't know what it's called, but I quit eating. So then I put weight on a few years ago. I had a doctor who put me on a shit ton of medicine, like 20 different prescriptions for seizures. And seizure meds, you get fat and you stay fat. It's like the depot shot. But I'm taking this medicine like I'm supposed to so that my seizures will stop. Well, my seizures kept happening because I was so medicated. There were days that I didn't know anything even happened. I thought, I slept for the last 5 days. So I got fatter and finally found a different doctor who got me off of all that medicine. And I lost all my weight, but I was still healthy looking. And then last year I had a boyfriend. I use that term loosely because it lasted 3 months. But in the first 2 weeks, he and his mother had moved into my house. And he was a heroin addict. And I knew that he had a past with it, but I thought he had recovered, because people get better. And some people will say, oh, they never do. But I have lots of friends who did it years ago and they've been clean for years. So I believed him. And I've never been around heroin, so I didn't know, what people did. He kept falling asleep when he was driving. I thought he had some form of narcolepsy because I'd never been around it, So I started trying to hide him and everything that was going on in this house from everybody. And when I get very stressed out, I don't eat. I will drop weight like a brand new crack whore. It just comes right off of me, no problem. So my mom asked me, Rock, do you need rehab or do you need food? And I was like, really? I need food, but I'm not going to eat it. And I have drug tests in my purse and I'll gladly take one. She's, why do you have drug tests in your purse? I said, because he said he was clean. I'm trying to make him piss, but he won't. So we finally got rid of him after my daughter and I were hiding from him. He was going to kill me.
Oh my God.
Got rid of him. And I promised my parents I'd put 10 pounds on. Would, start small. Because I did. I dropped probably 20 pounds in those 3 months. And I was already thin.
Yeah.
So I put that 10 pounds on, but I'll be damned if I'm going to put on 10 flabby pounds. And when he left me a note. It was during my internship for being a bondsman. You have to intern for a year. Mm-hmm. And I found in my little index box card for notes a note that he left me about how skinny I was and I had no ass, and he cheated on me with my friends because they had great asses because he knew I was so insecure about my butt. I looked at it one day and I saw that the skin was just hanging. And I'm like, what is this? I freaked. I cried for weeks over it. Mm. So when he gets out of prison, I have a lifetime injunction for him. But I just for unrelated things than me. The police, they're kind of useless around here. So we went into, we hid, but he's gone. We're alive. He stole everything that we had, but not our lives. So that's what I keep telling my daughter when she says, this is gone and he did this and that. And I said, but we're alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where that started. I started going to the gym because, do what?
You wanted a better butt?
Yes. I want to I'll never have some junk in the trunk, but at least it'll stand back up where it's supposed to be. I'm not going to have a Nancy Reagan ass.
Well, that's impressive. I'm hearing like a theme of challenges come up in your life, and instead of letting them get you down, like you find a way to overcome them, whether it's through your workouts, whether it's through your relationships, whether it's through your career. Like you are an overcomer is the theme that I'm hearing. So
yeah, definitely. I'm, I got kids watching me. They've got to, I'm teaching them how to act in the future. And don't lay down and be a bitch. Get up and take care of it.
Yeah.
I'm not raising.
So are your kids as tough as you?
Oh yeah, both of them.
Good.
My daughter and I actually got the same PE Student of the Year awards all in middle school and most athletic. And I'm like, that's right.
Nice. What sport does she play?
She does soccer and basketball.
Nice.
And she's going to weightlift too. So I've been taking her to the gym. And, my back is shit now. I've had one fusion. I need another fusion. It's a mess because as a kid, I had to beat the boys at everything. And now I'm paying for it. But I told her, I said, when weightlifting for girls, it was the first year they did it was the year I was there. And I said, I never lost a single match, Charlie. They didn't have state for girls back then, but I was district champ. And I'll be damned if I'm racing a loser. Get in there.
Yeah.
That kid, she's got quads as big around as my torso. I mean, she's just naturally muscular. And Hunter too, both of them. They're all jacked up. I'm like, that's right. Those are my babies.
Awesome. And I didn't realize we had that in common, but I also was on the girls weightlifting team at Spruce Creek High School.
Really?
Yeah, the same. It would have had to have been the same years that you were. I think you were a year younger than me. So did you get to live for 2 years?
No, just one. But I didn't finish at that high school. There was a incident with one of the other male students hitting people. And the principal said, we're not going to do anything because if we suspend him, he can't take this test and then he can't graduate. I was like, he just hit me in the face in class. And they didn't do anything. So I walked out and went to the college and took my high school exit exam and got my diploma that way.
Nice. So would it have been your junior year that you lifted at the high school?
I think so. I don't think I was driving yet. Because I remember the boy I was seeing, he was at UCF already, but I think that was my 10th grade year.
Okay. And they only had it 1 year before I graduated. And so I did it I was on the team my senior year. And I'm sure I was in a different weight class, but I also was undefeated in the district. So we probably
I got out benched by a Creek girl, but at clean and jerk, I blew her away because I was like, bitch. I got mad because, I never lost anything. I was always first chair saxophone and the best girl at this and the best at this. And I was like, no, we're not having this.
Yeah.
So, I'm still so competitive.
Yeah.
I can't do all that anymore, but
yeah,
my kids can. My kids are going to kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, and my sister is 16 years younger than me. So she went to the same high school I did 16 years later, and she got to start lifting from 9th grade on. So by the time she was a senior, she won the state championship. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, because they didn't have state when we were there, but they had it for her. So I live vicariously through her and through my kids too, for the things that I never got to do.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, she is very tomboyish, and she likes girls too. So she's taking away. I try to manipulate her. It's not working. I don't get to go prom dress shopping with my daughter or homecoming dress shopping or wedding dress shopping. I'm like, you're going to take that away from me? No, we're going to dress shopping. She's like, fine, but I'm not wearing it. And I'm like, fine, I'll be your date and I'll wear it.
That's funny. So tell us what's in the future for Rockie now that your kids are growing up. I mean, what are your plans over the next several years?
My 5-year plan, the main thing which pisses my mom off, she's like, why don't you try to buy another house? well, I don't know how to fix shit, so I'll rent it so I don't have to fix it. And if the AC goes, I can't just plop down $8,000 like it's nothing. But the landlord can.
Yeah.
So my main thing for my 5-year plan is to go to Costa Rica for a week or two and fish for rooster fish.
For what kind of fish?
Rooster fish. We don't have them over here.
What are those?
They're very pretty fish. They've got like these, on a rooster, like the thing goes up when he starts walking. They have that on their dorsal fins. There's a few of them. They're super cool. And I hear the fight with them. They're very hard to catch. So I might need 2 weeks there. I'll go see the rainforest one day maybe, but I don't want to live or stay in like the touristy place. I want to stay in the village and see how they live, when I'm not on the water fishing.
So do you fish now?
Oh yeah, all the time. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm sad or if I'm mad, I go straight to the river. That's my church. And I talk to God. And I ask him, what the dude?
So you catch and release, or you catch and you keep them? What do you do?
Depends. Franklin Tyrone Gate. It's my big cat. It depends on if I'm out by myself in the kayak, I'll just catch and release. Now, if we go offshore with my dad, we do a lot of offshore fishing in the summer, and then the winter we'll fish the creeks. But yeah, I mean, if we catch something, we're gonna eat it. So it's if we're not gonna eat it, we're not gonna keep it.
Right. So did you learn to fish from your dad?
Mm-hmm. I learned everything from my dad. He makes me fix my truck too. I'm like, Pop, nails. I said, I got blue eyes and boobs. All right, somebody else can do this.
That's funny.
Sometimes I try and play like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I know how to do it. I just don't want to. But there's nobody around to do it for me. So. My dad's too old and fat to be crawling around on the ground.
Well, that's also an admirable quality that you aren't afraid to get your hands dirty and do the things that need to be done. And that's awesome as a woman that you aren't waiting for someone else to take care of you. You do what needs to be done. So
I did for a long time wait for somebody else. Nobody ever came. And my dad he's just set on, he said something to me, I guess a year ago. He said, God damn it, Rock, I have to make sure that you can take care of yourself when I'm gone. And I'm like, Pop, I can't live without you. And I'm going to live till I'm 100. So you're going to have to cut back on the ice cream because I have to die first. And we're going to be old.
That's so sweet. But I think it doesn't sound like he has anything to worry about, that you would be just fine.
Yeah.
So your name, you have a unique name. Is there a story behind how you got your name?
My biological father, I use that term loosely. He's never been around. His name is Rock. And originally my mom wanted to name me Brandy. But in the 80s, Brandy was a very popular name. And my mom kept hearing girls named Brandy. And she wanted me to have something that nobody else had. So she gave her Irish daughter an Italian man's name, Rockie. But it's with an I-E because that's the girl way.
Have you ever met another Rockie?
Female?
Yeah, female.
No. I've heard of girls with that nickname, but I'm like, yeah, did they have to live up to it? Because I did.
Yeah. Was it a name, though, that you appreciated? I mean, it's a unique name, and is it a name that you enjoyed, or were there times you didn't care for it?
Growing up, I hated it.
Really?
People were kids are cruel. I mean, they were so mean to me. And plus, I had moved to Florida from Texas, so I still kind of talked like a Texan. I didn't know what Billabong was. And I moved here just before 6th grade. Well, the day I started school, everybody was wearing school shirts and billabong jackets. So I asked if that was also the school jacket. And at our 30-year class reunion, people still talk about that.
That's
and
funny.
the girls hated me because I played football and stuff, so they thought I was flirting with their guys, and I wasn't. I was just playing football. So it was hard, but this name was like the boy named Sue. I'm like, Johnny, I feel you, man. I do.
That's funny. Well, I like your name. I think it's very unique, and I think it suits you well. Your mom had like a premonition on your characteristics, and it's just like a great name for you.
It does fit me. I wonder, what if I was Amanda or Brandy? Yeah. Would I have, done cheerleading maybe instead of wrestled on the boys team? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but your path that you led seems like it's perfect for who you've become.
I'm very happy. For a while, it was not, and I was engaged, and the love of my life to this day, he's still the love of my life, and he was in a bad place in his life, and I had to break up with him. I mean, it was, my kids were getting affected, and it was a mess. He loves my kids very much. They love him very much. But during that time, it was bad. He was an alcoholic. He would disappear for a few days, but he was doing drugs, crack. He would never bring it to the house, but, and he wasn't cheating on me. I knew that. But he ended up getting into some trouble, and he had to go to prison. And he'll be out soon. Actually, he got 10 years. His first criminal charge. He had a DUI, but we call that everybody thing. It's not like a criminal. Yeah. Everybody gets DUIs. But yeah, he up. But we still see him. I've sworn for 7.5 years we would not get back together. And then after what happened last year, my daughter looked at me and said she wanted to go see him. And I had always promised him, because she was mad at him and she wouldn't talk to him. But I always promised him, whether we were on good terms or not, when the kids say I want to go see him, I'll take them. Yeah. And I did. I took her right then. And when I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, when I did, everything, it just smitten all over again. First time I saw him, I was 3 months pregnant with my son. And I thought he was the most handsome man I'd ever seen in my life. And I still think that of him.
Well, never know what the future will hold. So he's getting out soon.
Yeah, he'll be back in town on work release any day, actually. And so he'll be back in our area, and he'll get furloughs. But he'll be out September.
Okay.
Of 23. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's had plenty of time to, think about him, work on himself in prison, I would think. So perhaps
I don't think he'll ever mess up again, because there's 4 kids between us, and he loves every one of those kids like they came out of him. And his girls, their mom wouldn't have not allowed him to see them. So for almost 8 years now, he hasn't seen his own daughters. He speaks to them every week, but he hasn't seen them.
It's sad. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you have been awake all night, and thank you for the sacrifice of coming on here, especially after a night of working. And also thank you for just how open and genuine you are. I mean, I speak to a lot of people, and a lot of people just don't share a lot about their personal lives, and you've just been an open book today. So I am excited for people to hear your story. I am so impressed with all of the challenges you've overcome to reach the place that you are. And I just encourage you to keep being you. And I'm excited to see where the future takes you. So
I was going to try and change my personality for a while, just because it's so bold, like I'm a lot. I got my boss when I first came off my Adderall. He's like, "Wow, did you take your pill today?" I'm like, "Nope, no insurance, can't afford it. Sorry, deal with it." Sometimes he just hangs up on me because I won't stop talking.
Yeah, but embracing who you are is what I try to teach my children. I mean, this last weekend, my daughter, we were having a party for her cheer team. And, she got all kind of dressed up. She put on like pink hair because it was, pink theme. And right before everyone got there, she starts getting nervous and she's like, "I look stupid. I want to take it off." And what I'm telling her is, you look adorable. Don't worry about everybody else. Enjoy enjoy the moment, be yourself, and don't worry about everybody else. But we all struggle with what everyone else thinks of us. But I feel like you have overcome that challenge in your life, so you can truly be yourself and not really care so much about what everybody else thinks.
I keep tinsel and feathers in my hair 24/7. I tell my kids, why blend when you can stand out, baby?
Yeah. Well, I admire that because I'm someone who struggles to kind of just be myself and let myself, let my true personality show. So I admire that you are so comfortable with yourself and confident and, just keep being you. You're an inspiration.
Oh, thanks. And the sad part is I'm the most insecure person you'll ever meet in your life. I never think anything's right that I do. I'm not pretty enough, smart enough, good enough, nothing. So it's but other things I like me. Like I'm fun.
Yeah.
I know that. You want to have a good time? Let's go drinking. Yeah. Maybe we go to jail. Maybe we wrestle an alligator. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all our worst critic, right? So we always are going to criticize ourselves in that way. But having your personality be genuinely you is what you are great at. Like, you are yourself, and people can like it or not like it. That's exactly. Who you are.
If you don't like it, easy enough.
Yeah. I had a friend tell me one time, like, if you have no haters, then you're not really doing anything. So either you sit at home and do nothing, or you go do something and some people aren't going to like it. Like, those are the choices. Right.
And there's always going to be a Karen, or somebody is always going to be there to insult you. And that's the thing, like with the TikToks. At first I wouldn't post stuff because there's always somebody in the comments, and you can be told great things a million times, and then one person says something negative, and that's what sticks.
Yeah.
And my best friend made me post a video that I wasn't going to. It was just for me, but I showed it to her. I just wanted to do it because it looked sexy. And I'm not one that's I'm not a sexy girl, like sultry or whatever. I tell jokes all the time, even when I'm not supposed to. Mm-hmm. So I did this, and I said, I can't post it. There's going to be somebody's going to be a dick, and that's all I'm going to think about. And then I'm going to be like, oh God, what's wrong with me now? And this isn't right, and that's not right. But she made me post it. She guilt tripped me. And then she went on, and anybody who had even a semi-negative or neutral comment, she blasted them. It was like, but she knows how much it bothers me to hear that negative stuff. It eats at me.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. And that's one reason why it keeps people back from doing things, because we don't want that negative comments. But right. And they're going to come, they're going to come. But
I wonder how miserable those people are, that they sit around and they think, this is worth saying, this is worth ruining this person's day or whatever else. They must be so miserable and hate themselves.
I
'Cause I
wonder,
can imagine.
like, I would never want to hurt somebody through my
No.
comments. You know, especially people I don't know. You know, like I would never want to just say something mean that I knew would hurt someone's feelings.
Right.
But people definitely do, because they've done it to me. I see it all the time, and it's sad. But sometimes I'm able to just be like, okay, like whatever. Like I'm moving on from that, and I'm gonna. It is what it is. Sometimes I can even laugh at it, depending on what it is. You know, sometimes I can even laugh at it. So, but you know, it's the world we live in. I applaud you for continuing on despite some negativity. I think your TikToks are incredible. They always make me smile. And so being you and keep on. So
My daughter's pissed off about it because I asked her I had a TikTok strictly to make commercials for work, like the ads that I post on Facebook. I'm like, I'm going to start making commercials on my downtime.
okay.
And she wouldn't teach me. She's like, yeah, because she didn't want a mom on there. And I was like, oh, bitch, okay. You want to play? Let's play. So then suddenly I got good at making these videos, and I'm popping up on hers and all of her friends' For Your page or whatever it's called. Well, her friends think I'm hilarious and so cool and everything else. And she's like, ugh. And I'm like, should have taught me how to make a fucking commercial. We wouldn't be here. So now that's my goal is to embarrass her as much as possible.
It's not hard to do. I embarrass mine all the time, and I'm not even trying. So
Oh, I love it. It's so when I pull up to pick her up at school, I'll start blasting Rapping for Jesus. You can only find it on YouTube, but it's a old preacher and his wife rapping, and the words that they say you would not believe come out of their mouths.
really,
It's very funny, unless you're in middle school and your mom's picking you up, blasting that out of a Harley Davidson truck.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Rapping for you sounds like something I would like. I'm gonna check it out.
It's hilarious.
So, okay. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time, but I want to give you the last word. So, what's your final thoughts? And I thank you again for being here. This has been a great time to reconnect with you, and also just to hear your story and be able to share it with people who may not know that much about you. Final thoughts.
See, I can't talk when I'm put on the spot like that. I get nervous.
Okay. So tell us where we can find you on social media.
Oh, everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. I don't do Snap. I've learned that anytime a dude says, "Do you have a Snap?" just say no, because nothing good is coming out of there. And that's what I tell them now. I'm like, nope, I sure don't.
Good advice. So your Blonde Bondsman is your name on TikTok?
Mm-hmm. And then Instagram, and one of them I'm Mama Rock, because somebody nicknamed me that many years ago. I even have a cast iron sign in my kitchen that says Mama Rock's Kitchen. And that's what all the kids call me, is Mama Rock.
That's cute. I like that. So Mama Rock, Rockie Baldwin is that your name on Facebook?
Pennington on Facebook, because I started that before I got married even, and I've been divorced 12 years.
Okay. So everyone like, comment, follow Rockie, only nice comments. And if you get arrested, give her a call. How can they find you if they need your bondsman services?
Express bail bonds.
Express bail bonds.
Volusia County. We can drop in Flagler County and Volusia. But if you live here, you're like one of our frequent flyers, and you're down in Miami and you get arrested, we can still do the bond. We just have to do a transfer bond. You know, I'm not driving to Miami tonight.
Okay, so primarily Volusia and Flagler.
Yeah.
but you can do others in the state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as you're like one of our clients, not, we have to be able to keep track of you. Don't call me living in Tampa to bond you out of Osceola County, where your mom's in Tallahassee, just everywhere.
So they need to be local. They need to live locally so that you can keep an eye on them.
Yeah, because they're in our custody. But you don't gotta eat bologna sandwiches. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for the service you provide to people who are in need, who would be locked up without you, and for just sharing your story and being here.
Well, sure. Thank you for having me. This was fun.